So we bought another buy-to-let.
Yes.
Which is up north, and then we've got 3 HMOs up there, and we've got a rent-to-rent HMO up there, and then we've just got an offer accepted on what will be a 6-bed HMO, which we're buying, in the process of buying.
So this week, Ray, Tasha, you joined us here for Transformational Tuesday. Welcome. Just give us a bit of an introduction about yourself.
So Tasha and I met just over 12 years ago at university in Essex.
Wow.
I was studying history and literature. I wasn't really sure I've always never really been sure what I wanted to do with my life. So I started kind of just jumping into what I was good at school. Wasn't really necessarily kind of not sure what to do. So I'd never go into banking. Went into banking after university and just kind of flowed into the day-to-day work-life balance. Tasha was very, very different to me though from that background.
Yeah, so I always wanted to work with people. So I went and did psychology at uni, and then I basically started doing psychology work. So I started working with people with dyslexia, and was...
While you was at university?
No, after. So fast forward, we finished university, which was interesting because we spent the first 3 years, I guess it's different to a normal couple, where we actually started living together on the first day of meeting each other.
Building together, intense from the beginning,
So we spent 3 years together, and then we actually ended up spending 3 years apart while we went back home and found out the right jobs for us, building up money to then move in together. You were living in Essex, I was from Sussex, and then we moved into our first flat in 2012.
Yes. Yeah. See, it's always interesting just to know background, because it's like, why do people get into property? Like, what is it about investing in property? I think sometimes we always have a perception of what it's going to be or how it's going to be, but what was it for you guys? It was like, oh, what is this property investing?
Oh, we never thought ever we would be doing property.
No, it was something I had a little interest in. Never really thought I was really going to go into it. So my parents owned a single property which my sister lived in at university. So they were like, we'll buy one, she can live in it. It was HMO at the time, had no idea what that was. And
so your parents had a HMO,
just a small 3-bed HMO.
Some other people as well?
2 other people lived in it. So when they were first looking for the properties, I used to go with them just because I was like 14, 15 at the time, just exploring, kind of a bit nosy, looking in people's houses. And always like, wouldn't it be amazing that we could get into property but never really do anything from it? And then I think kind of the day-to-day life of work, and then we got married and went on our honeymoon and realised what life would be like when we had that month away, went to New Zealand. It was absolutely amazing, wasn't it? And then kind of went back to work and was just like, this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. And then I was looking for ways to get into it from there, really.
So as a month you went?
Yeah, went away for a month.
They say 4 weeks is that threshold.
Yeah, I think that's what it was,
If you go on holiday for 2 weeks, not so bad, you come back and you get back into it. If you go away for 4 weeks, they say that's a threshold. Where you realise that this is supposed to be life where I'm supposed to just work all the time.
So we thought the next time we would be doing that was
in our retirement. So we was like, no, we can't be doing this.
That's quite a daunting fact.
It was, and we'd always joked before, well, let's do something for ourselves. And Tasha was like, we'll open a sandwich shop outside the station and we'll sell sandwiches. So we was always just joking about things to do, but not really knowing what we wanted to get into.
So then what was the point where property was like, okay, this is it?
Well, I think because we bought our first flat, this was in Braintree in Essex, and we then put it on the market to sell. We'd lived there for 3 years, and we're like, right, let's upgrade to the next house with a garden.
Like you're supposed to.
Yeah, like we're supposed to do. And we put it on the market, and it just didn't really, nothing came from it. So it was our mortgage advisor said, why don't you rent your flat out and like remortgage it, and then put the money into your new house? And we were like, oh wow, you could do that, and we could do that. So we did that. And that was kind of where we, I guess, became accidental landlords. And we were like, well, this is quite nice. We don't do anything. We just get like a little bit of money coming in each month. And I think that's where you were like, I want to do that.
Yeah, so then I was literally looking for ways to get into it on a regular basis. So I was like, okay, we can save $5,000 every year. Every 5 years, we can put a deposit down another flat, and we'll have maybe 5 by the time we retire.
That was the goal, wasn't it? To have 5 houses for when we retire.
Yes, that was the goal. And then nothing was really happening there because we were still just kind of living within our means. And I was talking to people at work and going like, maybe we can do something together, not having a clue what to do, just like calling up some agents at lunchtime. But again, it was all kind of talk. And then
so that was just all off your own back?
All off our own back, but nothing was really happening. It was all like
But had you decided, like, property, definitely want to do it, or was it still
it was still kind of just thinking about getting into it. It was more,
an idea.
Like an idea that this could give us a better retirement if we do maybe one every 5-10 years. It was like kind of a pipe dream, I guess.
And I guess we didn't, when you started looking, we didn't have like a pot of money yet.
No.
So you and your friend were like looking, you were going to like put $5,000 in each and find really like the cheapest house in Britain to buy kind of thing.
We was going to be doing. It would have been an absolute disaster. And then me being probably negative in my job, not really enjoying myself, Tasha was then looking for ways to kind of push us into something, and she actually...
Yeah, there was just an advertisement on like Facebook saying, come to this free 2-hour property seminar, and it was in our town, and I was like, Ray, let's go. And he actually was like, no.
Yeah, I said no. Why would I go? They're gonna
sell me something.
So I said no, and then
it was only it was the second time it came up again.
But a year later, so we waited about 2 years again for it to come up. So I said no, and then
you waited 2 years.
Yeah, waited 2 years, did nothing. So yeah, because we'd even spoke to people after that, and they were like, oh, you said for 2 years you were going to do something like this, but those 2 years we did.
So what changed? What changed in your mind that was like, I'm going to check it out?
I think it was just the day-to-day job after coming up from the honeymoon, realising this was all there was to life, and
you had to go through 2 years. Before you realised what?
Yeah, because I think it was
because we moved. When did we move?
In 2015.
We got married in 2016. So it was like that year where you kind of think, oh, that'll be a one-day thing.
Yeah.
And then we went on the honeymoon, and then you had some problems with your heart.
Yeah.
And which made you kind of question a lot of things.
Probably like lots of little things coming together to make him think, okay, life's too important just to leave it till the retirement and waiting for that special moment in the future. Let's change it now and think about that.
Have your experiences now, enjoy.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. It was wanting it now.
So when you realised that, then what did you do?
So we obviously went on that 2 hour free seminar, and then they were saying like, oh, you can buy houses using none of your own money. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
So
Sign me up.
So was that the point that you said, okay, we're going to do this?
Yeah, that was it.
It was like the door had opened, as in like, look what's possible. Yeah. Whereas before we didn't really know. Obviously you watch Homes Under the Hammer, but you think you have to have money to do stuff. So we were just, it was only when we saw that, and then you knew that somebody had done something very similar at work.
Something very similar. He'd left 3 years before. I assumed he just had loads of money, had just made it in work, obviously was higher up than me, and that's how he bought his properties. Only when we went through that I realised he'd done the exact same process as us. And I was like, okay, now we know it works. Yeah. Like this has to be, like we were just all in from that moment.
So you realised that the possibility and this works. So what advice would you have to someone who's maybe thinking like you, just going to go in the job, maybe I'm going to save up, I need loads of money to do it, all of that. Just what's a short piece of advice you have to help people? Because this is what this is all about. You know, talking about your transformation, your journey, it's like, how can we help other people to get that realisation sooner? Because it took me years to get it. It's taken you years to get it. How can we help people get it sooner?
I would just say, just don't wait. Like we waited 2 years, and those 2 years could have completely transformed our lives and could have helped change the lives of the people we want to help as well in our families and that. Actually, just that one day won't come. You need to take the action today to just put yourself out there to just learn and grow with other people. And
don't wait for it to come and find you.
You need to find it.
Like go and find it. Because that's what we did. We just waited for it to show up. And then be like, oh.
It's only when we reversed that and actually put kind of our effort and energy into it that we realised, okay, now we can make something happen because we're willing to take that step. So I'd just say, start taking action.
It's a kind of thing that happens a lot though, isn't it? We're conditioned to almost wait for the opportunity.
Yes.
I'm looking for something needs to change, but you're waiting for
you always wait for that perfect scenario to come up, but it never does. The perfect situation is never there. You're always waiting. So like whether it's waiting for the perfect opportunity to get a new job or waiting for the next opportunity to start a business or have a family, it's never there.
I think it's a misinterpretation of what the pain. Like, the pain of, am I going to do something new? Could I get ripped off? Is it a scam? Will I fail? Will it not work? Versus, well, actually, I've just spent 2 years of my life, and although I think maybe I have progressed a little bit because I paid some of my mortgage down, or maybe I went on a couple more holidays within that 2 years, so I think I've progressed. That 2 years, it's like, what's that cost you versus when 2 hours of your time, 1 day of your time, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. I mean, even if you invested 2 months, is it worth investing 2 months to see what it's all about versus I waited 2 years?
I think it's because obviously society conditions you that you have to do things in a certain way. So we went to uni, we got a job, we saved money to get our first home, and then we got married. And then it's only when you got married you're like, oh, so then we have kids, because that's what we think we should do. And
same
then
track. Same track.
And then Ray and I was like, let's have babies. And then Ray was like, no, there's something else. Like we need to do something else. He was just like, there's something that happens first.
Missing.
It's almost like you feel like you've got through the finish line. What's next?
Yeah, and then I think the realisation is you can have kids, and then what's next? You've got to work 40 years.
But we don't get taught in school how to find your passion. Like, what is it, your purpose? What is it that you're supposed to do? And if you don't decide what it is you're going to do or seek to grow yourself to an extent where it's like, actually, this is what I'm passionate about, then what happens is, or this is what I'm seeing anyway, everyone just defaults to, you know, get educated, save some money, get a job, save some more money, maybe buy a house if you can afford it, maybe you can go on holiday depending on what level of income you got. Hold on a second, and then you get all the way, no, because then you're supposed to get married, then you're supposed to have children, and then you're supposed to, you know, go to other people's weddings and all that, and then you start going to funerals, and then you retire, and all that. That's what everyone is saying that's supposed to happen. Rather than actually, what's my passion? What is it I'm supposed to do? You know, now with all the abilities that everybody has to run businesses from anywhere in the world, systemize things. You know, like you don't have to stay in your country that you were born in, because I think that was a thing as well. Like, you know, I'm English, so I have to stay in England. You know, I go on holiday and then I come back. You know, you can go anywhere.
But I think that's the way that we're conditioned, because from the moment you start school as a child, it's all about educating you so you can get a job. Like what kind of job are you going to do? It's not what do you want, what do you enjoy in life, what kind of experiences do you want to have? It's all about get educated to be clever enough to do certain jobs. Also, the higher paying jobs means you have to be more intelligent than the person next to you.
But I don't think...
It's the way it's conditioned.
But I don't think also they teach you how to add value.
No.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Like, what, since you decided, yep, this is it, how did you then start adding value to yourselves, to people, and then the journey? Like, what was coming up? I'm sure there was some challenges.
There's lots of challenges all along the way, just in the growth you have to kind of have within yourself. The first thing was just putting ourselves out there. That was probably the biggest challenge, just online or just talking to people about what we were doing, because it was so alien to what their lives were like you're saying, to what we're taught to do from a kind of young age going through school. So the challenges first of just, we put ourselves out there online was the first thing we did. We thought we'd share it with family and friends. That's what we're going to do. Just share it with them, add value to them, and they can come with us on the journey.
So what were you sharing? Like just this what's possible?
Well, first it was just like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm up to, just to show you, I guess what is possible. But for me, it was kind of keeping me accountable, but it was also showing them like, oh look, you can go and find properties that you can rent out, and this is what you can do. Because a lot of people do talk about doing that as well, but never do it. So I was just showing what I was doing. I
think it's just showing people like part of our journey, like from the first ever video we did, which was just like, this is what we're going to do, guys. Kind of like, and then kind of actually not just saying it, but actually doing it. And evidencing it that along the way. And then I think that's hopefully helped others see that it is possible and inspire others to do something similar. Like one of your friends who decided to go off travelling.
He literally they left their jobs, they went travelling because they were realised that life wasn't about just going through the work. So we'll live a bit now, go off travelling, then go back to work afterwards. So they just did that. So we've inspired people in ways that we didn't expect as well. Some other friends had decided they wanted to then try and find their passions. They started looking into different ways to go into a different career path that they wanted to do, just by sharing online what we're up to. And they don't necessarily talk to us on a regular basis, they just see that we're constantly trying to change our lives, and it's changing theirs as well.
And again, society tries to rubbish that by calling it a midlife crisis.
Definitely does.
Somebody leaves their job and goes travelling, and it's like midlife crisis.
So when you started, did you still have this flat as a buy-to-let?
Yes, we still did. So that was still that still is buy-to-let as it is.
You still have it now?
As buy-to-let. So that's one of the ones we haven't.
Is it making you money, or is it a
souvenir? Making us money. So no.
It makes money.
That's good.
We've had the same people in there from day one.
Since day one.
Wow.
So we're really
how many
lucky.
years has that been now?
That'll be 2015. So 4 years, it'll be 5th year this year.
Cool. So then that was the only property you had when you started this journey. And then what was it when you started? Was it all like, as easy as you thought? Was it hard?
No. One of the first things we struggled with was actually which strategy we wanted to do. So at first, I guess Tasha was like, we'll just do some buy-to-lets, we'll go forward. Whereas I wanted to go straight into HMOs because we already had one buy-to-let, let's do that. And I'd heard that was a great strategy to get into. So there was a bit of a conflict there of like how we were going to push forward with which strategy. So for the first few months, we kind of weren't really sure where we were going. And then once it was kind of, Tasha was always like a few weeks behind, weren't you?
Always.
So I would have an idea and then we would talk about it and then she'd be like, let's do that. So it just took a bit of time to catch up because So did you have some challenges because you're in there's definitely challenges. Trying to have that balance between the intimate relationship and the business relationship was quite a challenge. It still is at times because you spend a lot of time and it can just really merge into one. So we've learned a long time. We have to really make time to spend quality time together rather than otherwise you're just talking business all the time and you literally run out of things to say as well when you're just talking about business.
You've gone for a meal, we're like, so we can't talk about property, and we're just like sitting there like,
just talk about property,
What do we do now?
Okay, let's break the rule. Well, what about this?
So how do you deal with that?
I think what we've also learnt a lot is about ourselves.
Yeah.
Do a lot of personal development and like communication and how that's been massively key and been really like able to communicate with each other and what's going well, what's not going well, and like been able to explore it together. So if I'm annoying Ray or if he's annoying me, we're able to talk about it and then resolve it really quickly. And I think it helps that we're quite calm people, so we don't generally argue. It's more of a conversation. We might go and sulk for a little bit, but we generally come back. And and knowing that, having that more control over like our mind, and knowing that we can choose to stay in somewhere where we're not happy, or we can quite quickly turn it around. So we very rarely will stay in that place.
We've always done as well. We've had to work on that over the last few years, because again,
and that's the crazy thing with going into property.
Work on ourselves as well a lot.
It's completely transformed us as people, and I think that's actually made us have a better relationship.
So before we get into that, because that's obviously part of your transformation, like, what's some of the challenges? Like, what is it that people need to look out for that you went through, and how you dealt with them?
In our relationship?
Well, or just in property.
I mean, I think, look, property specific is good,
no, of course.
But it's like, I think it's foolish to think, oh, let me just focus on how do I get the property, how do I raise the money, because it's you as a vehicle who's doing it, and if you don't take care of it's like, if you don't take care of your car, you can't expect it to be doing its job.
No, of course.
So you got to take care. So the whole journey, just the challenges.
One of my biggest challenges, especially at the beginning, was my belief in finding money.
Yeah.
Because we bought our properties using none of our own money, which meant we had to go and find it.
Yeah.
And I think
that doesn't make sense to people. Average person watching that doesn't make sense.
No. So that was hard. Be like, who would want to give us money? Who has money? And I think we lost deals because I self-sabotaged. Because I was like, I can't find money, so therefore I didn't even actually look for it. Because I'll be like, oh, it's gonna, everyone, and there's the phrase of, find the deal and the money will come. So I was like, fine, the money will come. Yeah, the money will come, but not actually taking any action to find it. And
then waiting for the opportunity.
Not actually doing anything about it.
And I think that's probably one thing that we are quite bad at is kind of, putting your head in the sand and be like, yeah, it's fine. And then you're like, oh, okay, it's really not. And then we get stressed.
Yeah, so we took a lot of time towards the end of last year really assessing what we've done, and actually got really annoyed within myself of like the excuses I've been making to myself over the last couple of years, as in, I guess I've done it my whole life, as in like, I'm waiting for it, or this is the reason I'm not doing something. Okay, I was like, I've had enough of these excuses. Let's delve into that in myself. And Tasha said, like, she's delved into it in herself as well. It's allowed us to overcome some of those challenges moving forward. So we're taking action quicker now, because you can have these excuses come up and they will stop you from moving forward. So you need to be aware of your self-talk and what's happening to you, because otherwise that will self-sabotage, like we have done in the past as well. Yeah,
like last year, I think we were like, oh yeah, we're doing fine. And it was that justifying where we were at. And, and I think it became when we hit the financial freedom figure. So we'd like reached our goal, and then we're like, yeah, we did well. And then we just kind of then just continued and just maintained as opposed to grow.
One of the reasons we maintained as well, sort of learning from us as well, we were self-managing all of our properties at the beginning, and that took up so much mind.
And we live in Essex.
We live in Essex, and all our properties are in the Midlands, in the Stoke and Crew. So it wasn't the travelling there, it was just the day-to-day kind of questions we were getting from tenants, especially once the portfolio started to grow. That took up a lot of our time. So
had you quit your job by then?
Yes, I had quit my job by then.
So you wanted to quit your job, and that was always part of what you wanted to do, and then you created yourself another job.
Unintentionally just quit the job. So we never wanted to have that as a job, but it just happened.
Looking back, do you know why, like how that happened? Was it intentional? Would you change it?
Unintentional at first. So we started speaking to some agents, and they were a bit slow at getting back to us. We was like, okay, we don't want to work with them. And then the property was finished. We was like, okay, we'll start advertising it anyway in the meantime. And it seemed really easy, the first one. So it was like, okay, that wasn't too hard. And they were really quiet for the first 6 to 9 months. Second one came, third one came. And then we were like, okay, now it's a lot of questions coming to us on a regular basis. So it was kind of intentional, just unintentional at the same time.
And I think what we also said was, in order to become financially free, we need more money to leave the job. So we valued at that time we valued money over time. And then it kind of, and then all of a sudden we had no time.
So you thought managing the property
would give us
more money.
It gave us more money, but ultimately
the amount of time we were spending, we wasn't valuing our time in that exchange.
So that we went on holiday, and you can't just switch off. Every morning you're like, oh no, like there's a leak or there's this, and it's just constantly. And then we had a problem tenant, and
so was it lack of systems in place at that point?
Yeah, it probably was. So new at the beginning, we should, in hindsight, start putting your systems into place right from the beginning, and then that will allow you to be prepared when you're kind of moving forward.
For sure. This is the challenge, and I see it all the time, and I'm still working on a way to get people to realise that I'm like, now is the time to systemize your business, and then people just do not do it. But the further you go, the more you got to backtrack.
100%.
If you want it to be
No, definitely.
If you want to be efficient. So if you work out a way on how to persuade people to systemize sooner, then let me know.
We'll definitely have a think, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it doesn't really affect me because we already gone through that pain and we had to do the backtracking. So that was us. But I want to help people realise that, hey, look, the sooner you start it, the easier it is.
Yeah.
But when there's no pain, like you go on holiday and you can't have a holiday, that's then a pain to say, I've got to sort it out. But when that pain's not there, I think people just want to get on with their everyday job.
Yeah, one of the problems with that as well, when not having the systems in place, is we didn't have the clear roles and responsibilities. So we'd say you're responsible for this, but there's no clear definition of between us for who held responsibility for what. So then we could never really call each other properly out on it. And then that means that when we went further forward, we can't really systemize the business properly because we don't really know who's responsible for what. So it's really having those clear
we'd also
lines
like
in the
them
sand
blame
of who's
each other
responsible for what. Because like, we haven't done this, but who's actually responsible for doing that?
Because you'd be like, oh, you didn't do this, and I'm like, well, you could have done that.
Yeah.
And that's how it would generally go.
That's why systems at the beginning we've realised were so important, because then, like, say I'm responsible for marketing or something like that, Tasha's responsible for like sales or something like that. It really is clear in the line of who's doing what with which processing property. So clear.
So
going from accidentally having a buy-to-let to now, like, what's your results now?
Do you want to go?
Yeah. So we bought another buy-to-let.
Yes.
Which is up north, and then we've got 3 HMOs up there, and we've got a rent-to-rent HMO up there, and then we've just got an offer accepted on what will be a 6-bed HMO, which we're buying, in the process of buying, and we've just now started. We realised that investing up north was quite hard in terms of the time it took to keep going up and down, so we wanted to stay close to family, and so we've now kind of changed strategy. We're focusing on service accommodation, so we're currently taking on 5 service accommodation units that we're putting our processes in place for
we are.
as we speak. So that's where we're at.
That's incredible. You seem like you're just like reading it off.
You did feel like you were reading it off.
I was like, I've got a mental list.
You were step by step. So it's been.
That's incredible. One accidental, buy-to-let to another buy-to-let, 3 HMOs, rent-to-rent HMO, 5 service accommodation, different strategies. You're diversifying. So what was the turning point that allowed it to all start, happening?
That's a good question. There's a lot of stuff that's happened.
What's the transformation? What was the big realization? Like, think about things that are going to help people realize, like, oh yeah, wow, if I can realize this sooner rather than later, maybe I can start accelerating quickly.
I think what helped us at the beginning was we had no doubt that we were going to succeed.
That it's going to happen. Like, we can make this happen.
As soon as we were like, right, yeah, we're going, and I think people could see that in us. Yeah. Because we were like, yeah, this is happening. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, I think that's what's helped us, because it wasn't like, oh, we'll try it and see what happens. It was like, this is happening.
Yeah. So it's like, just once you decide you want to do something, go all in and commit to it, because that's where you'll see the kind of transformation happen quicker. Otherwise, if you're thinking, I'll just do it a little bit.
Burn the bridges.
And I think I have such a clear vision of what I want in my life, what my life to be like, that I can't not have that, because I'm so connected. There's no way I'm going back. Yeah. Not that I had a bad life before, but I just want that so badly that we'll just keep going until we get that.
Awesome.
So I think having a clear vision, a clear goal, and I think probably over the last 18 months, I think a big thing for us has been having the great support around us.
Really important.
Because it's quite lonely, and it's really hard. So not having that great support network to make sure you keep going, or when you are kind of doubting yourself, to be like, no, you got this, come on, keep going. I think it's been really good, good. Like, there's been times when before we had that, I'd be sitting in the car just crying because I literally had nothing. I had no one to talk to. Because if I rung my mum, she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what's happened to you? What are you doing to yourself?" If I rung my friends, I'd be like, "Just stop it. Just go back to what you did."
We knew it would be like this. This is what we said. Why did you get into this in the first place? Just go back to your jobs. But I think with you guys, I remember that moment where you were very structured in working for the bank and feeling very secure, and then you were kind of doing a bit of this and that with your psychology, but so you were out first, right?
I kind of became accidentally made redundant, which was like, it was weird, because in my goals I was like, right, I want to leave in this month, on this year, and then they were like, yeah, you made redundant, so it was like a bonus, because obviously I got paid to leave.
So this is the part that not a lot of people might not get, but like the manifestation of you were clear on your goals, you'd made the decision, it was happening, you wanted to leave your job in this month, all of a sudden you get made redundant. I'm guessing, do you get some payoff?
Yeah.
So even better than just leaving. Yeah, did you get paid to leave as well?
No, I did not, sadly. No.
But you did get bonus.
Well, I stayed till I got my bonus. That was it.
Yeah, you got added bonus on that.
Yeah.
So, like, what I want to know, and I'm sure what everyone else wants to know, is like, what are the key points that either kept you in the game and just help you carry on, like, transforming and doing bigger and better and more things?
One thing we realised at the start, so we were probably about 3-4 months into our journey, and we realised the most successful people in business have a coach, and we realised that's something we need to do. If we want to push on further, we should get a coach. So it was weird as well, because we were literally walking our dog going like, we should get a coach, we should have a coach. And then that's just where we had a conversation with yourselves. Like literally that day, I think you messaged me saying like, let's have a call. We didn't even know it was going to be about that. So it was like we'd manifested we was going to have a coach, and then you guys came literally that day to talk about it. And that accountability has allowed us, when there are times when you're struggling, it keeps us going and pushes us on. And like you saw more in us than we were going to see in ourselves, so you'd be like, no, you can keep pushing more and more and more, and that's allowed us to realise we can keep pushing more in ourselves.
I think that's also a big reason why we were so visible on Facebook. I don't think we would have done that without being pushed, because it was massively outside of our comfort zone.
I remember your challenges around raising money and things like that, so I think that transformation very quickly in how you were putting yourself out there, and it was just attracting all this finance into you were like, I've known this person for ages, and now that she's got like 100,000 or whatever it was, and I was just like, see, but it's because if you don't tell people, then you're not ever going to know what they have, or if they see that you're doing something successfully, then they're like, hey, do you know what, I've been watching you for a little bit and I've got this money, and you're like, what, I've known you for years, I didn't know you had that money. And I think what I enjoyed the most was the first call that we had with you. You had some kind of a uniform on or something.
Oh no!
We like to match accidentally.
It was the camera. It was the camera on the laptop. It made us all always look like we're wearing purple.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I remember that, and I was just laughing, and I was like, "What? These guys are serious. You know, they are out here."
Got a brand going already.
So also you have come up with a brand as well since
Yes.
journey.
So which we're just developing a bit more now. So we decided we wanted, because as it's all about families, we thought we'd obviously put our name into it. So Catchpole Property Group is our company, and the reason we put the group in it as well, so we can expand into other avenues. So we're kind of manifesting that it's not just going to be just like property, it could be other streams of property as well. So like could be lettings if you want it. It could be like service accommodation. Now we've gone into it, so it allows the streams to kind of multiple streams to come into that as well. So we've been working on that brand, working on personal brand as well by putting ourselves out there through obviously putting ourselves online. We've then been doing public speaking and talking at networking events. So there's so much more that's come off the back of it that we never even thought would come from that.
So you're doing everything that you weren't taught at school?
Yes, 100%, every single thing,
So it's crazy.
Complete opposite.
Build a business and all the rest of it. So what advice would you have for people who might have similar challenges to you? Like, you were bored in your job, then you figured there's more to life, but you were just going to look forward to retirement. What advice, tips do you have for help people, get moving and shift and get to do what they really want to do?
I would say to find what makes you happy, like what you're passionate about, whether that be property or anything else, and then explore it.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily that you need to leave your job in order to be happy and successful and fulfilled, but I think it's about finding what will make you happy and what will make you fulfilled. And somebody said something to me the other day, like the purpose of life is to find your purpose, and I thought, that's beautiful. So if you can find what makes you happy and what's going to drive you and make yourself have a fulfilled life, then go and find it by doing different things, because not everyone knows what it is. So I would say go and explore that, and then do whatever it takes to go and make it happen.
So just on top of what Tasha was saying about your purpose, I think one really important thing is once you found your purpose, to have a really, really strong why, because that why will allow you to push on when there are really tough days. Like we said, there are challenges that Tasha and I had, and having that why has allowed me to push on when like my back's been against the wall. So thinking about why you're doing it, what's important to you, and why that's going to allow you to push on. So for me, it's been all about my family. So my parents given me a great child and a great upbringing. I want to give back to them, because like my dad's still working, he's a painter and decorator up and down the ladder all the time. He should be retired. So that why pushes me on when the days are tough. I'm like, no, I have to do it for them as well as it for me. So that's really, really important from my perspective. If you think about your why, that will allow you to push on through some of these challenges.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying about purpose is very important, because people think like, I have to have the absolute end game of what my purpose in life is, like why I'm on this planet. I mean, I'm not sure whether you ever find that, but what I do know you find is, what about what you're supposed to be doing right now? Yeah, so I feel on purpose right now, and I think once you can do that, you can forget the whole, but is this right? Is it this? Is it that? Because you don't have to have the end game. I mean, you know what you know now, and as long as what you're doing feels right now on purpose, then I think that's the main thing. So I don't think people need to get overwhelmed about, what am I supposed to be doing?
No.
What's the ultimate end being?
No.
You don't. And I think if you think that now, you're going to limit yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're only thinking with what you know now, not what, in 5 years' time, you probably achieve so many more different things. It's like, actually, my purpose is, 100 times bigger than what I thought it was in the first place.
Yeah, and property is that amazing vehicle that can allow you to find your purpose, because you can do it give you that freedom, and then you can go and do something you want to do. Like, so for me, I guess in the past, I always wanted to do something in sport. It's not something I'm necessarily passionate about now, but I was always worried about having enough money through doing a job in sport to kind of support my family, whereas property would be that vehicle that allows me to find that purpose, whether it's money related or not. So so important from that perspective as well.
Exactly. So business, property, whatever is passive that can be set up as a vehicle allows you the freedom to find your purpose. Because I think that's ultimately what happens. I mean, we see people are coming in because they don't like their job, and they say, my goal is to quit my job, but that's not everybody's goal. It's just that they need something to give them more mind freedom, more physical freedom with their time, so then they can find their purpose.
So they can go away for a month to New Zealand.
Definitely, 100%, yes. Exactly.
Find another purpose.
That's it. That's good. So what last kind of tips would you give to people, to go out there and make it happen for them, or find their purpose?
I would say, firstly, if you're not sure where to get started, come along to some sort of training and just find out the kind of ways to get into property.
Some sort of training.
Yeah, so in terms of, I know some good ones, so I feel like you might want to talk about that. But there's some great, trainings obviously Real Life offer, and I say come along to that one. I'm not sure when this is obviously going to be posted, but they're all the time. So come along to the next one. Just find out how to get started in property. Meet some people in the network that will allow you to get started, because that's so important to have that support mechanism around you, and just learn from others by doing it. So it's definitely, that's what helped us to get started. So I recommend that for sure. Yeah,
and just don't go, don't have like your 20-year goal. As you said, just have like the goal of what do you want to achieve like this month. That's going to get you online to do. So as long as you're taking action, because I think sometimes you set such big goals that they feel so unachievable that you get kind of scared off and then you don't do anything, and it's just that one day thing. I think that's what we all do. Like, one day I'm going to do this, and then obviously one day never happens. So in order for that to happen, what are the small things that, even if it's just tiny, you're still moving in the right direction. So that's what I would say, is just find something and just move in the right direction.
Yeah, the first step's normally like the biggest one you have to take. So take that step, come to some training, or just talk to people about getting into property or changing your life, or thinking about what you want to do. And once you've taken that step, it's then little steps that allow you to move on, like Tasha said, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming up here.
Thank you for having us.
And sharing your story, inspiring many more people.
Well done, guys.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you again, having you here again.
Yeah, definitely.
Because now things are exploding big time.
Yes.
So really looking forward to seeing it.
Awesome.
Thank you.